Welcome to episode 227 of Girl Take the Lead, where each week we explore womanhood and leadership. And I'm your host, Yo Kenny. Virginia Frischkorn, Millennial, founder and CEO of Partytrick.com, joins us. She is an award winning former event industry professional who has successfully transitioned into a startup founder. With over 15 years of experience creating exceptional events, she is dedicated to transforming and empowering the experience economy. Her achievements include being recognized as one of the top 50 planners worldwide by Vogue and Martha Stewart Weddings, named a top 10 innovator in EventTech, and honored in the DBJ 40 Under 40, among other prestigious accolades. Having founded and led the award winning event production company, Bluebird Productions, for 15 years, Virginia recently launched the software platform Partytrick to revolutionize the way events and experiences are planned and executed. This digital platform is the operating system powering experiences with systemic approaches that maximize both impact and efficiency and is powered by data driven insights. What you'll learn in this episode have to do with a slightly different topic. We talk a lot about this tug of war between balance and alignment in different chapters in life, connecting through entertainment, vulnerability, authenticity, hope, and resilience, and just doing it. Enjoy the episode. Here you go. Virginia, welcome to Girl Take the Lead. I think we're going to have a great conversation today. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So let's start. If you would introduce yourself to our viewers and listeners so they know a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. So I'm Virginia Frischkorn. I'm the founder and CEO of Partytrick. We're a platform that revolutionizes how events are planned and executed, done for something small all the way up to scale. Prior to this, I spent over 15 years in the luxury event industry, doing over $100 million of events for some top brands and individuals. And, through that, I saw how inefficient and fragmented the world of event planning actually is. And ultimately, it led me to build this tech platform. Beyond work, I'm a mom, I'm a marathon runner, I've got two little kiddos, lifelong entrepreneur, love to travel, love creating meaningful experiences and connections.
Yeah, so good. Well, I know, like what really impressed me was a post that you did.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny.
That post was so good. And do you think you could share it with our listeners? Because I thought it was just so good.
I love it. And definitely, I love incorporating a lot of my personal life into my LinkedIn presence. I think that a lot of times it's just like thought leadership, but I think incorporating your real life into that is really fun. So what I shared was an ex once told me, V, if you put half as much effort into this relationship as you do into your work, we'd be riding off into the sunset by now. And it struck me, not because he was right, but because he'd identified something fundamental about entrepreneurship that I hadn't yet embraced. Being intensely focused and driven isn't a flaw. People seem to love my independence until they see that it means I will also be independent from them. They love my self made success until it outperforms theirs. They love that I'm unapologetically my own person, yet they want to mold me to their own specifications. But I've learned to never apologize for my ambition. I've had to accept that some people are going to be turned off by it, and that's okay. If you try to please everyone, and you might end up pleasing no one, and certainly not yourself. And if you're playing that tug of war, wondering if you're striking the wrong balance between where you put your time and energy, this is me saying to you that your drive, your focus, your ability to work towards your goals, these aren't traits to dim. They're the very things that are going to help you build something meaningful. And then I ask, fellow founders, have you ever been made to feel that your ambition was too much, and how did you handle it?
So many good themes that you brought in to that post. And I think the biggest one for me was working hard, and
Yeah.
and you spoke to it that we're not always going to be 50-50, right?
Yeah.
That balance is going to look different at different times.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in different chapters and again, different chapters of life, different chapters in balance and in life and in every way possible.
Right. Because I think, like you personally, you have small kids and balance looks a lot different
That it
when you've got
does.
two
I don't like
on
that word balance very much. Yes.
the end. But I
Yeah.
definitely can remember hardly ever feeling imbalance. It was sort of like this way to just sort of keep myself centered as much as I could.
Yeah. I totally get that. And I think that, I don't think there is any balance. I think it's about the alignment. And if you're spending your
Mhm.
time and energy in ways that are feeling like meaningful and fulfilling, that is its own balance. Like it's just a different way to like position the word, right? And you
Yeah.
look at balance over a larger scope versus these short little segments of time. And like ultimately everything is like in balance in some way, but it's really, I think it's most balanced when there is a sense of alignment. And when
Mhm.
you're not aligned with what you're doing and there's zero balance, that's when things get overly chaotic.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I think alignment is such a better word
Yeah.
for what we go through at certain points. And you
Yeah.
talked about different chapters of our lives. What have been some of your chapters?
Oh goodness, so many chapters. So I just turned 40 last year, and I look at the chapters of life as, young professional, young event planner, starting my first business, the chapter of being wife, pre-kids, the chapter of being mom plus running business at the same time. I got divorced when my children were very little. My daughter was 1, my son was 2.5. And
Mm,
that was a really beautiful, we talked a little bit about that earlier, this
yeah.
hilarious, fun chapter of being divorced with young kids, but also being in a really stable spot with my career. It's kind of a unique position to be in. Now,
Mhm,
this big chapter of transitioning to being a founder of a tech platform.
mhm,
Uh, it's all of these little segments of life, some longer, some shorter, and you look at each not and how they like make up the fabric of the life. Um, so I love thinking about things in chapters instead of, oh well, this was that year, a couple of years period, or like overly defined by one segment. Like each chapter,
mhm,
I feel like a whole different person right now at 40 than when I got married at 27. I mean, I look different, I behave differently, like everything, but I am the same person. But each chapter informs the next. And without previous chapters, you wouldn't have taken those life lessons. And so for that, I'm grateful for every single chapter I've had. I've learned things, and I like to bookend, like, oh, okay, cool. It's time for this next new chapter to end. And there's to start. So let's take that one that we just came out of and go from there.
Well, I love too the way you've just described that they build on each other. Like to get the complete story, the complete book,
Yeah.
you have to have these chapters in it.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful the way that you've kind of put that together.
Thank you.
Now, your business is really about connecting people, right?
Yep.
So how do you see your mission with doing those kinds of connections?
I believe that when people feel safe and when they are in the right environment, right, when you set the stage, connection is much more possible. Um, and whether that's, I mean, we'll talk about Partytrick essentially in that way where it's about setting that stage. But when you're with your kids and they're in the backseat of the car when they're little, and the most authentic like version of themselves comes out because you feel safe, you feel secure most, 90% of the time. I like to think about what we're doing here at Party Trick and what my job was before is really designing environments and setting the stage so people could ultimately foster connection, foster community. And at
Mhm.
its core, Party Trick's really about that. It's about human connection. And it's not just about the logistics and operations. Like, yes, I'm a total efficiency nerd and I love the beautiful details, but ultimately it's a tool that makes it easier to carefully craft the people craft the group of people that are in the room and the connections that can actually occur. So like for instance, this past week I hosted an event. It was a networking event in Denver. And it was pretty by all intents and purposes, but like it wasn't this like massive Instagram worthy event. But what happened was it facilitated a lot of amazing connection and community. And I've heard so much feedback that it's really about creating again that space where a guest experience is paramount. You've crossed your T's, you've dotted your I's. You can be a gracious host or hostess which ultimately allows people to open up the way that they need to. And so, yeah, we're there to make sure we can help people set the stage so they can actually come together in more meaningful ways. It's not just about what it looks like, but that's fun
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. Well, Brene Brown says in her book, The Gifts of Imperfection, practicing courage, compassion, and connection in our daily lives is how we cultivate worthiness. And so, with your business, it just is like if you're not just putting people in the room together, you're actually creating the platform for them to really connect with each other. That's so cool. I mean, I hadn't thought about it that way before until we met, but it makes sense. Do you think it matters if you do it in person or you do it online?
I think there's a time and a place for both. And I was actually meeting with a client earlier today, walking through kind of probably our final sales pitch. So not a total client yet, but a prospective client. And they asked if we facilitated and support kind of the virtual event component. And I think that the virtual world allows you to connect with people to a certain depth, right? And so like we can connect right now, but we haven't met in person yet.
Mhm.
There's nothing like in-person connection to really solidify a relationship. And I mean, it's funny. I have a person who's been in my life as part of my team for over 5 years, and I've never met her in person. And I feel like I know everything about her, and she knows everything about me. And it's crazy how you can facilitate connection virtually. However, being together energizes. I mean, for some, like I'm actually an extroverted introvert. I need my downtime. Everyone assumes I'm an extrovert, so they think that in person, fuels me. Whereas I do need both. And so when I think about like events and when I think about connection and community, how we're trying to build it, I feel so strongly about in person. Like that is the whole core and purpose. Like our platform is designed with in person events and activations in mind. Yes,
Mhm.
the virtual has a place in it, but it's dominated by the interactions that we are able to facilitate because you can engage all the senses. And that's
Yes,
something
I
I think
think
that
that's
is
so
so
true.
important. And that
Yeah.
impacts your memory and impacts again how things imprint. You can make a certain level, but the depth isn't there. You don't remember how it smells, the taste, the feel, like all of those things that you get in a very sensory way. That's just that much more. Again, it's the depth of connection that you can capture in person.
Yeah, because I think it's a whole different energy.
Totally. You
And
can
when
read
you
people's energy in a much better way. Also, I feel like Zoom is no one shows up in truly in the same way as they do when they're in person.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think that the point you made about engaging all the senses, that leads to a certain kind of energy that you can't get if you're only using a couple like we're doing right now.
completely.
A good
Yeah.
point. Good point. So let's talk a little bit about that connection and that authenticity and perhaps that vulnerability. Um, Brene also says, vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. And I'm wondering how your clients, you help them deal with that vulnerability that, you walk into the room and you're in that moment of, oh my God, I shouldn't be here, or I don't belong here, or they're going to see who I really am, or whatever it is. How do you help with that?
I think it's if you think about what we're helping our clients and our users on our consumer or business platform, we are helping them with a sense of confidence, right? We are helping them cross their T's, dot their I's, knowing that they didn't forget something. I think when it comes to events, this is a weird way to think about it, but it's a way that I found resonates. So events typically have like three core skill sets. There's the design and what things look like. There's the planning. So it's like, what food am I going to serve? What music am I going to play? And then there's actual execution, the hosting component, how you show up in person. Most people feel really good about one of those things. They know they can set a beautiful table. They know they can do beautiful flowers, or they have, a great taste and they can order beautiful flowers. I'm going to say stereotypically, that's women. Stereotypically, men are like, oh, I've got my music, my playlist, it's my thing. I've got I can cook great steak. And then the kind of the production and hosting component, some people have it, some people don't. But what I find is the way to get people really comfortable and then people read their energy off of the host, is to make sure, again, they know they've got that sense of confidence because they've crossed their T's, they've dotted their I's. They know that it's cohesive and it looks good. They know that they haven't forgotten something. There's
Mhm.
nothing worse than like, I don't know, getting halfway through an event and be like, oh my God, there's a bottle of champagne in the freezer. I didn't turn the music on. I didn't do this. And then everyone around you is like, whoa, like, where'd you go? And so that actually, detracts. And we used to,
Yeah.
I'll go off on like a little tangent, but I used to have clients who, and this was in my previous world of event planner prior, my clients were like, oh, I want my friends to have a really fun time. I'm like, if you have a fun time, they're going to have a fun time. It's pretty
Mhm.
basic. If you
Mhm.
are setting a great tone, like people read the tone how they should be having off of the host or hostess. And it's a lot of pressure in that way, right? Like one, you want to know that everything before has gone up. And then if you have that sense of confidence, you have that sense of ease, it sets the stage for other people to feel comfortable. So less about as a guest, how to feel like, okay, I'm good. Like I would love to crack that code one day, hopefully. And if someone has, please come find me. I know how to make a host feel comfortable right now. I will tell
Yeah.
you, I am still so awkward. I have to go to networking events all the time. And I went to this one recently. It was like 30 people. I was the only female. It was a group of tech founders. And I'm like, I am so out of place. This is so embarrassing. I can't relate to anyone. Like the inner dialogue, and I'm like, okay, like calm, breathe, like just be. So yeah, whoever's got the tips for how to make as a guest, come find me, please.
Well, I think that the breathe thing is a good one.
Oh yeah, breathe,
Just
always just
walk
like breathe
in.
down. Totally.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit more about perhaps some of the things around vulnerability, like faith and hope. Because I've been thinking a lot about hope recently, and one of the quotes she has is, "Hope is a function of struggle. We develop hope not during the easy or comfortable times, but through adversity and the belief that we can create change." Doesn't that sound good?
Oh my gosh, completely.
God.
Mhm.
Definitely, because I think in our life, in our different chapters, we have moments where there was despair and it didn't look so good,
Oh yeah.
and that hope was the thing that came through
Mhm.
to kind of get us to that next chapter. Like, okay, it's going to be all right, it's going to work out.
Yeah, completely. I think that's so spot on.
Yeah. Now she says faith isn't an agreement to a set of beliefs. It's a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
mm. Yeah, because I think in so many of those changes that we've gone through, we don't know how it's going to work out. I'm sure that when you were going through your divorce, you were like, well, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but this has to happen right now, whatever
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely is where the faith kicks in. Like, it's going to be okay.
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess one of the differences she points to is that hope is action oriented. It's about making things happen through effort and belief. Faith is trust based. It's about embracing uncertainty and believing in connection and meaning, even when we don't have all the answers. So
Literally.
good. I guess, what do you think? They're both important, right? To being resilient.
Yeah, very, very much so. For me, resilience is really built on both. They're both incredibly important and it's built on both. And I think as shared, hope fuels action. When things get hard, whether in business, parenting, personal, whatever, hope keeps you moving forward.
Mhm.
It's knowing that like if I show up, if I problem solve, I can now overcome it and I can like influence it. And that's been really key to me. But like faith, as shared, it's about that surrender a little bit
Mhm.
more. And that's the harder part. And trusting the process, even if you can't see how it's going to unfold, and
Right.
just navigating everyday life as an entrepreneur, as a mom, like you can't control everything. And you don't have all the pieces of information, and faith gives you the courage to like move forward. And those, like in terms of resilience, hope is like an engine and faith is that foundation. Hope pushes the action forward, and faith kind of anchors you. You have to surrender to it. And again, hope pushes to act. Faith keeps you grounded. It's like that deep breath. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm gonna breathe through it. Um, and you need both. You just do. Otherwise, like without hope, you stay stuck. And if you have faith, you're just kind of like there's the uncertainty, and it can be a little bit paralyzing. So I think the two really balance out
Yeah,
exceptionally well and build that resilience.
really well said.
Thank you.
It also seems like when we have these moments in our life where we don't know how it's going to go, like we don't know how our business is going to grow, but we know we need to go in this direction. So you take that leap
Yep.
and go in that direction. And doesn't it usually work out?
Typically, I mean, I don't, sometimes you just don't know how, you just do it, right? Like, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to figure it out. And you just, I think there's that sheer, I actually was speaking with the coach earlier this morning about this. I was like, look, this isn't discouraging to me. Like we had a road bump and it was a hard start to the day. And I'm like, this isn't discouraging. I don't know how we're going to do this, but like, I have to maintain the mindset that we'll figure it out. We'll get through it. We don't know how, but if you start spiraling and you feel lost by that uncertainty, which is so easy to fall into. It's that mindset control. But I mean, yeah. Gosh.
I know. Well, I think you've helped us so much with a couple of things, having your own business, being in a business where you're connecting people and bringing them together for an experience, and having your own life to talk to us about, resilience and things. Is there anything else we haven't covered that you'd like to share with our listeners besides
Yeah.
go and have an in-person kind of?
Go party, go party. I know that sounds so funny. It's true though. Like I talked to so many people. I was with an ex-boyfriend a few days ago, and I was like, "So what was the best party that you went to recently?" He goes, "I don't know. I haven't gone to anything for a while." And I'm like, "Well, I consider a party right now like a barbecue. Like when did you go just grill out with someone? And what was so meaningful about it?" And it was, to speak on like just the everyday human connection. And he's like, "Oh, it was so much fun." And he starts talking about it, and you can see him like light back up. So yeah, I mean, selfishly, my whole personal mission as well as professional is get people together. It's never that fun. You're like, I just want to stay home right now. Like tonight, it's Friday when we're recording this. I just
Mhm.
want to go to bed tonight. Like I want to, and if I'm going to, but tomorrow I've got a very full day. And but I guarantee you, if I pushed myself tonight to go and see a good friend, I would probably feel maybe even better than going to bed as early. I just had a very early morning on this one. So there's
Mm,
one of that. And I think if anyone's listening who is contemplating, like, how do I do this? Like, what do I do? You just do. Like it's a Nike quote of just do it. Just get into
mhm,
action. You don't always know how. I think a lot of times, and this is more of like a again, I look back on my experience as a woman, like I've been able to push myself more than a lot of my female friends with
mhm,
uncertainty. I love certainty. I love it. I just have come to embrace the fact that life isn't certain in so many ways. And so you just do it. It's like you're never ready to have a kid. You just have one. You're never ready to
mhm,
start that business. Just do it. You're not really feeling ready to go out tonight and go and have fun with friends. Just do it. Once you
mhm.
actually get out, it's always worth it. Very
Yeah.
rarely is it not. And if it is, cut bait and go home. But at least just try. I think there's so many people that are paralyzed right now
Mhm,
because there's so much fear in the world, and it's getting together, inspiring connection, inspiring community that ultimately will create that safety to go and do those uncertain things.
mm,
Because then you have your anchor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So great advice. Great advice.
Yeah.
So, how can our listeners follow you and find you and hire you?
Well, come find us at partytrick.com. And I have a personal website, virginiatrafton.com, where I've got a fun little newsletter as well. It links out to the social medias. But in part, yeah, definitely follow us on Partytrick. Our consumer app is launching again soon. It's on a little rest right now, but it'll be back, in about by the end of March, early April. So
Good.
download it. Our consumer platform is free, which is amazing. I believe, gathering is a necessity, not a luxury. It should be accessible. And then if you got a business, book a demo online. I'll come find you that way.
Well, definitely. I'm going to check your app out because I'm planning a bridal shower for my daughter. And
I love it.
I'm
Amazing.
trying, looking at things online, like what do you do at a bridal shower that's not so hokey? It's like,
Oh, I know. Some of the old traditions can get very interesting. So we should talk about that one for
we're
sure.
going to reinvent that one.
Yeah.
So, my darling, what would you tell your 20 something self today?
Dream bigger.
Mm,
Always dream bigger, dream bigger, dream bigger, and build the relationships early intentionally. You're, I mean, on a professional side, your network is your net worth. It's allowed me to grow and scale these businesses and have the pipeline and the connections we have because I've been incredibly intentional about my network. And I would have dreamt bigger when I was younger. I would have gotten here probably sooner. And I would recommend that just to anyone. Like, again, I probably would have networked bigger, harder earlier. But you live and you learn from everything. So, and say no. Progress, not perfection. I love that one as well, right? Don't let perfection get in the way of progress. Just get it out and go. Because I think we stop ourselves. So, anyhow, a couple pieces of advice.
did you get a chance to go to our store and just check out any card and gifts? Did anything speak to you?
I did. And I would say this is a blend of like a big thing for me right now. It was the trust your gut, you know what to do. That snarky cat. First, my kids love cats. And not that I don't love cats, I'm a dog person. They've been begging me to have one. But it's really about that trusting your gut right now. Like
Mhm.
every time I trust it, it's the right thing. And when I
Mhm.
don't, I'm like, why didn't I listen to myself? So it's really
Mhm.
like, can you be in tune? So it just like really resonated for where I am right now more than anything.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites too. I love
So
Snarky
funny.
Cat.
Yep.
Oh, well, Virginia, thank you so much again for joining us. And it has been such a pleasure to pick your brain and find out about connections and in a different way than we normally do. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a
Thank you for listening today, and we sure hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell a friend about us. Join our public Facebook group, Girl Take the Lead, or visit our website, girltaketheleadpod.com. We also have a YouTube channel where your subscription would be appreciated. Once you're in YouTube, search at Girl Take the Lead. And we've recently gone into YouTube Music where you can see a video of this episode, and you can also see a video on Spotify. Here were some great quotable moments that were kind of my favorite from this episode. Being intensely driven and focused isn't a flaw. How about this? Your drive, your focus, your ability to work towards your goals, these aren't traits to dim. They are the very things that will help you build something meaningful. And we had some Brene Brown quotes in there. This one was one of my faves. Hope is a function of struggle. We develop hope not during the easy or comfortable times, but through adversity and the belief that we can create change. Mm. There were so many more. Check the show notes because we've put a bunch of them in there. Here are 3 episode takeaways. 1, when you're not in alignment and there's zero balance, that's when things can get really chaotic. One way to view it is segments in life that are chapters, and each chapter informs the next. Without those previous chapters, you wouldn't have taken those life's lessons, and for that, we can be grateful. 2, when people connect, it can facilitate community. It allows people to open up. In person events engage all the senses, providing more depth of a connection. It's a whole different energy. And 3, events have 3 core elements: the design, the planning, the execution. Most of us feel good about one of these. The way a host gets people comfortable is by exuding confidence that all the elements are handled. Our next episode will feature our guest, Najat Abdurrahman, a keynote speaker, the author of The Art of Managing Up, the founder of Vogue, a business advisory and consulting firm that helps organizations and leaders transform the way they lead. She is a certified leadership and emotional intelligence coach who enables organizational growth and transformation through learning and leadership development. We talked about her terrific book, which gives us great insights into emotional intelligence, challenges in the way of managing up, and how to take a holistic view when it comes to working with others. So please join us again and talk to you soon. Bye.